Yo, how's it going, guys? I had a special request in Flight Simulator 2020 with Speedbird on YouTube, which is one of the people that helped me figure out how to enable frame generation previously when we had to use the beta update Flight Simulator to enable it. But now I'm running the 40th anniversary update, and so now we actually have it by default, and I want to show you the graphics settings. He especially requested a 4K resolution, and let me go to the graphics settings here. Okay, so 3840 by 2160, which is 4K resolution. Anti-aliasing is set to TAA. Frame generation I currently have off. He asked to test it with it off and with it on. Nvidia reflex low latency is on. I have the frame rate limit set to my monitor refresh rate, which is 144 Hz to 4K display. DirectX 12 beta is enabled because you need that for frame generation. Let me scroll down here. I put everything at basically the ultra preset. Terrain level detail I normally have at 200, but I think at the ultra preset it's set to 100, so I'll have it at 100, but I also set it to 200. Then just for fun, we'll try 400 also as well. But he just said that set the ultra preset, which I think is 100. And he also mentioned that 200 previously before this patch compared to 200 now actually is more taxing, so that's interesting to note there. So all the graphic settings are fully maxed out here. I double checked all these settings, they're all the way fully maxed out. So, and he requested to fly over Manhattan Central, I almost called Manhattan Park again, Central Park, and then I'm going to do a low fly in the Cessna, which he also mentioned, Cessna airplane. So we'll do a fly through, and then we'll fly over Central Park, and then hopefully try to get the settings that he requested. So bear with me as the Cessna gets over there. It's a little bit slower than the airplanes I'm used to flying, which are like the jets and stuff, airliners. I think my favorite is the Airbus A320neo. I just love flying that airliner for some reason. So I'm more accustomed to flying that. I've been flying a Cessna in a long time. And it kind of brings me back to old days when I used to play Flight Simulator. I don't know what year it was, but like Flight Simulator 93 or 95 or whatever it was called. And you would always start off with the Cessna. Roger, Cessna, X-ray Golf I would usually fly from Chicago to Mix Airfield, which of course no longer exists. But I mentioned that to Speedbird, and he mentioned that he did the same thing. He'd fly out of Mix Airfield, so that was kind of cool. Okay, so in a short while we'll get to over Central Park, and I'll do a low fly through, and then we'll turn on frame generation. And then we'll also experiment with the level of detail to 200, and then we'll set the 400 to see if there's any major differences. And then after this, I will do a fly through that I kind of wanted to do. I wanted to fly out of SFO Airport in the Airbus A320 Neo, which is San Francisco International Airport. I wanted to tour a little bit of San Francisco, which I used to visit often. My dad lived there, and I would visit him when I was just a kid. I think my first time flying, I was maybe like 7 or 8 years old, and my first time ever flying was by myself. So I guess that really got me into aviation, you know, just flying as a kid. And I was always been in airplanes, but I mean, everything about it just fascinates me. So all right, so I'll be quiet here. We'll fly over Central Park. I'll do a low fly through. I'll maybe slow down the throttle just a little bit, just so we get some slower airspeed, and then we'll do a low fly through, and we'll do the cockpit view too, which is also very taxing, and hopefully we get a good shot of everything. And see, these trees and stuff is very taxing to draw, and previously on the 3090 this would run absolutely horrible at 4K, but this 4090 is just a complete beast, and it can pretty much run anything, I mean, for the most part, at 4K without much of an issue. Now 8K, there are certain areas where you are going to struggle in certain games, you know, Cyberpunk 2077 and some of those other heavy titles, Red Dead Redemption 2, and also Flight Simulator 2020, of course. But so we'll fly over here, do a nice low fly through, show the water too, which is also very taxing. Don't want to hit the trees. I'll experiment here with a little bit of a different view here to further.
Cessna X-ray Golf Sierra, you're leaving my airspace. Resume on navigation. Contact New York approach.
I did this sometimes when you experiment with different camera angles. It actually does really further stress the GPU. So I'll try to show some different things here.
Approach Cessna Alpha Sierra X-ray Golf Sierra 300 feet.
Inside view here. If I was really a Cessna pilot, I would not be flying this slow. But just for testing purposes, I am flying a little erratic. So bear with me. Okay, I'm going to increase the full throttle here. We'll gain some altitude, and then we'll turn around, and we'll turn on frame generation right now. So let me go ahead and turn that on. And we'll see what kind of difference it makes. So DLSS frame generation on, and yeah, I'll leave everything just where it is. Apply and save.
X-ray Golf Sierra.
And look at that, we just jumped to 120 frames per second. It immediately makes a huge difference there.
Going to 1.2.7 Cessna X-ray Golf Sierra.
So let me maneuver through these buildings here.
New York approach Cessna Alpha Sierra X-ray Golf Sierra 500 feet.
Fly over the same area as Central Park.
New York approach altimeter 29.92. Continue as planned. Cessna X-ray Golf Sierra, you're leaving my airspace. Resume on navigation.
So it looks like we're getting about 85, 87, 90 frames per second here. We'll check the inside view.
127.6 for Cessna X-ray Golf Sierra.
Try changing the camera angle. Some of these angles here
X-ray Golf Sierra 300
really tax it, the GPU. It seems like the front view, looking down, is really taxing. It's showing the prop and the
New York approach Cessna Alpha Sierra
lighting from
X-ray
the
Golf
airplane.
Sierra. Request clearance to
And then this
transition
water here
Bravo
is also very
airspace.
taxing, I find.
Cleared through Bravo airspace, Cessna
Inside view
X-ray
here.
Golf Sierra.
And again, I would never be flying from a real pilot. Just for testing purposes, we're flying a little bit erratic.
1.2.7 for Cessna X-ray Golf Sierra.
Okay, so just for fun, let's turn on the full 400 level of detail. Apply. And let's just see what happens to the frames per second.
New York approach Cessna Alpha Sierra X-ray Golf Sierra 300 feet.
Looks like it did go down a little bit. And I could be wrong, but I might be seeing little tiny stutters here and there. Maybe it is loading the terrain as we go. I'm seeing these little minor little stutters. Maybe it's just loading because I just changed the graphics. But see, just there, if you saw, there's a slight stutter. Over there, I've got down to 66 frames per second, so it's definitely pretty heavy, even with the frame
Going to
generation.
127.6 Cessna X-ray Golf Sierra.
Okay, then just for fun, let's oops, did not want to do that. Let's turn off the frame generation with this 100% turning double detail, apply and save. And check that out. Wow, yeah, it really dips down.
New York approach Cessna Alpha Sierra X-ray Golf Sierra 300
37
feet.
frames per second there. I'm also kind of curious to fly the helicopters. I haven't flown them before, but I may try that in a separate video because I don't want to make this video too long. And next, we're going to be flying the airliner. So with 400 level of detail there, we're getting about 37 frames without frame generation.
One tree.
And then let me quickly just set it to where I normally have it, which is 200, which I guess, like I said, was told is more heavy than the previous 200 before the 40th anniversary patch. So I'll just set it to 200 because that's usually where I keep it at. And see how it runs real quick.
2.7 for Cessna X-ray Golf Sierra.
About 50, so pretty decent.
New York approach Cessna Alpha Sierra X-ray Golf.
Okay, so
Sierra
now
3.
I'm going to exit out of here, and then we're gonna go take off from SFO Airport. I'm gonna do basically like the full takeoff procedure, you know, from what I know from riding airplanes, what they do. So, okay, so let's go ahead and change the aircraft. Let's go to airliners and my Airbus A320neo. Flight conditions I will modify once we get into the map. And then for the area, we're gonna go from SFO, San Francisco International Airport. And those of you who are aviation enthusiasts, I'm sure you guys heard about the tragedy yesterday, Dallas, Fort Worth, I believe it was. There were two airplanes. I think it was a which one was it? B-17 Flying Fortress and a P-67 Super Cobra, I believe it was. They collided, and yeah, very unfortunate incident, very sad to see. And I did watch a few videos of it. I actually don't like to watch things like that because I find it a little bit, you know, depressing and sad. But yeah, very unfortunate incident. I kind of think that, you know, when they have two different planes like that, like the B-17, which is a large airplane, long and, you know, long, slow, and limited visibility, and then you have that P-67 Mustang, which is very maneuverable and obviously better visibility. But from what I gathered from the videos I saw, I didn't watch too many, but from what I gathered, it looked like the P-67 was trying to fly information with some other smaller airplanes, and he may have done a big descent maneuver and a banking turn, and during that turn, I guess he didn't see that larger B-17 Flying Fortress until it was too late. And unfortunately, they did collide, so that was an unfortunate incident which happened just yesterday. So that was November, I believe it was November 11th, so very unfortunate incident. And yeah, Speedbird, I'm sure you probably know, obviously you're an aviation enthusiast as well, and you are a pilot, so yeah, so that's one thing that is pretty sad, you know, when things like that happen. So, okay, so let me very quickly adjust the not the graphics, but the time of day. So we'll do I like to do scattered cloud. Actually, let's do broken clouds. And then, oh, I don't want that. It's too foggy. So scattered clouds. Time of day. I want some sunlight, but I also want some sunset action. So we'll try. I guess we'll try it out there. Okay, so I'm gonna fly towards the city of San Francisco, and like I said, maybe earlier if you did watch the video in the beginning, I used to fly a lot as a kid. My dad, who lived in San Francisco, California at the time,
San Francisco Tower.
I would visit him from Chicago, and I'd always make that trip. And I think my first time flying, I was maybe like 7 or 8 years old. And so I was always an aviation enthusiast. I always loved airplanes. I always liked seeing the airplanes take off at the airports and stuff. So airplanes have always been like my passion, and they still are to this day. And I actually did want to be a pilot as a kid. I never, unfortunately, pursued that career. But back to my story is I would visit my dad, and he was a big-time hardcore mountain biker, so we would always mountain bike. And he lived in the city, not too far away from the Bay Bridge. You could briefly see here towards the left here. That's one of the longest spanning bridges. I know there's probably one other bridge that's longer, but for a while it was a really long bridge when you add the whole portion of it that goes into Oakland. So anyways, we would bike from there, the city. He lived, for those of you who are familiar with San Francisco, he was near Market Street. Very popular, busy area, and we weren't too far away from the Bay Bridge, which we could actually see not too far away from where he lived. And we would bike all the way to the mountains from San Francisco. So we would bike, we would basically start off by going through near the Bay Bridge. We'd check out the piers, like Pier 39, and all the you know, scenic events. I think there was an area that had like these sea lions at Pier 39 that was very popular. I don't think they come back there anymore, but that was kind of fun to listen to and watch, as I love animals, I love nature, and it was kind of cool. So I'll do a low fly through and just kind of show you the areas that we would bike through, and I'll show you the mountains that we would cross. So every day we would cross the Golden Gate Bridge, and you know, it was just quite a scenic route that we would take, and I would love to kind of share moment with you guys. So, okay, so we would basically bike right towards under this Bay Bridge, and then there would be a pier that would come out. Looks like they don't show it on here, but there would be a pier where a lot of people would bike and do a lot of fishing there. Little stutter there, by the way. Okay, let me very quickly turn on the frame generation so I don't get myself too ahead of myself. So let's turn on frame generation, and make sure everything is set to where I want it. Okay, yeah. So apply and save. And just so you guys see, the graphics things are fully maxed out here. We're at 4K resolution. Okay, so back to my story. We would we would bike through here, and we would also pick up a lot of good fisheries and stuff, where you pick up like salmon and stuff. We pick up fresh caught salmon from these individuals that would come out on to the bay and catch them, and then you would see all kinds of ships and stuff. There would also be a lot of not aircraft carriers, but like battleships that would show up. And over here we had an area where they would fly kites and stuff. I think that was called the Marina. I'm flying through here so fast, I'm on an airliner, so bear with me. And then you had the Presidio, which used to be like a military base. There was actually like a aircraft airport there for a military, and we would bike through there. I remember it would be so windy, but it would be so fun to bike on an actual area where airplanes would land, because again, I was so fascinated with airplanes. And then going on to the Golden Gate Bridge, you had Fort Point, which is originally a area to protect San Francisco, I think, during the gold rush, and they had like cannons and stuff there. So as a kid, I got to simulate firing a cannon. And then over here we had the mountains. We would bike up these mountains here, and some of the trails, for those of you who are familiar with San Francisco, we had Bobcat Trail, we had Coastal Trail, one of the mountains here, Mount Tam, we went there one time. And then you had Sausalito, which is where we would end up biking to. And then we would take a ferry back towards San Francisco, because biking all that way would be so far. And the whole trip on bike, round trip, you know, actual biking miles would be about between 40 and 50 miles, depending on, you know, how many areas we went to. And so Sausalito was around this area, I believe. I think we just passed it. And then there would be a ferry area, which was next to a prison. And the prison was, I'm trying to remember the name of it. Very famous, popular prison, because it's been there for so long. But we would take the ferry back to San Francisco. And so that was basically our little round trip that we would do to kind of check out the city. And we would do that every single day, Monday through Friday. And then Saturday and Sundays he would be working. He was a taxi driver in San Francisco, so he worked for a yellow cab. And fortunately my dad is no longer around, but yeah, I have good memories with him, and you know, so I just wanted to share that with you. And then of course there's Alcatraz too. When we would take the ferry back, we would see Angel Island, which is also another little kind of a separate island. I believe it was that one there, not this one here, but the one next to that there. Pointing in that direction was Angel Island. And then the ferry would basically take us towards the piers, closer to Pier 39, and we'd bike back on. So that was our little thing that we would do to experience nature, and I really liked it. I really like being in the mountains. You know, something about the mountains in California, whether it's San Francisco, LA, or you know, all the areas, it's just something so fun. You know, being out there in the wilderness, the animals. We would see bobcats, deer. I think some areas even had mountain lions. I think Mount Tam actually had mountain lions, which we never thankfully saw. Which, you know, I probably wouldn't want to run into a mountain lion, considering that they can be very territorial and aggressive. But yeah, so that's just like my little story that I want to talk about San Francisco. And now, my thoughts on San Francisco is the city is really not the same. I mean, honestly, it's dangerous there now, I'll be quite honest with you. The crime rates, I think the police there now are really not even chasing after criminals. There's a lot of thefts, robberies, you know, a lot of unfortunate things going on, not just there, but all over the
Cleared for
world.
Bravo
To be
airspace
honest.
Airbus 320.
That's kind of unfortunate. And so I just wanted to talk about that little story there. And then down this direction, I'm going to point the mouse cursor. There is Twin Peaks. And like I said, my dad was a San Francisco yellow cab taxi driver, so he was also in the cars too. He used to own a Ferrari. He did racing, dune buggy racing. He had quite a lot of things going on in his life, you know, that really kind of got me into the same stuff. You know, the fast cars, racing, drag racing, quarter mile stuff. He did the same stuff. And so I kind of followed his path in my life as well by doing the same things, just not without the same caliber of cars. You know, I didn't have a Ferrari, but I think my fastest car I've owned was a 2015 Subaru WRX. But yeah, so back to my story. This was Twin Peaks. It was basically a little bit of a mountain, and he would take me up there in his taxi. We'd get to the top, and it'd be nice and foggy. As you know, San Francisco would be a very foggy city, and we'd get up here and have a nice view and, you know, check out the town. So for some reason on here it doesn't look as large, but in person it was very large. I just saw the frame generation kind of kick in there, so if you saw that little glitch there, but I saw the frame generation kind of lag there. So yeah, I just wanted to talk about that, and I figured why not, let's do a landing and where I took off from. And because that's another thing is when you're flying to San Francisco and you're actually landing at the airport, it's kind of scary. Now maybe Speedbird, you probably know, being that you're, I think you said you were or still are a 737 pilot, but the landing of SFO, let me turn on the throttle here, was a little bit sketchy because you're basically flying really, really low, and there would be a lot of like islands and stuff that would be like little mini islands, not really islands, but you know, little, I don't know what you want to call it. But I remember when I would land, I would always feel a little scared because I'd be like, are we going to land in the water? Because we're just flying so low and slow, and it just would always kind of scare me. So I'm going to try to impersonate that route. Now, there's a few different ways you come in here, but I'm going to come in by turning around. So we'll do a little turn, and then I'll probably close out the video. I don't want to make this video too long. And then very briefly, since we are still testing stuff here, and I'm just kind of rambling on, let's go to 8K here. So just a further testing out here. Is that wait? Okay. Let's go. The issue is, because if you see the VRAM there, it was at 24, and this graphics card, this Asus Strix RTX 4090, only has 24. So if you used it all, you're not going to be able to play it. So okay, so we'll leave everything just the way it is. Let me make sure I'm at 4K. Okay, yeah, 4K. Okay, playing safe. So I totally forgot about that. And I'll switch to the inside cockpit view. There's some views of the mountains there. You know, another thing I noticed about California is the mountains have a distinct look. You know, the color and the pattern, they just have a distinct look. Like whenever I see those mountains, I immediately know that's California mountains. There's something about the way they look. I'm sure you guys know what I'm talking about. For those of you who live in California or who frequently go there. Now back to this landing. Basically, let's go ahead and load the landing here just so we're prepared here. I'm going to try to do this professionally. I obviously have no pilot, but you know, I haven't done a landing in this game for a while. But I'm going to try to do everything proper here. So let me try to remember where the flaps are here. So.
Sun Country 860 tree, contact the launch center on 127.19. Good day.
A little bit.
Overspeed, 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 overspeed,
Throttle here.
overspeed, overspeed,
Going to 127.45 Sun Country 860 tree.
overspeed.
And then we'll get turned around slowly but surely here. I always like hearing those throttles kicking the engines. It's so cool, you know. I mentioned that previously in my other video. turned around here, and I'll try to. Yeah, I don't have a very good approach angle here, but so hopefully not going to be the best landing here. But we increase the throttle here.
400.
I guess this is going to be a harder landing, but that's okay.
300.
I'll try my best here. Work with what I got.
200.
Push the throttle here. I'm just going to do another turnaround. Get a little farther away. So bear with me. I just want to make this complete. You know, I took off and I want to do the landing just so everything is complete.
Overspeed. Overspeed. Overspeed.
Okay, so flaps are down. I will set the parking brake before I'm getting ready to land. Add a little bit more throttle. Let's see how. Get a little bit farther away here.
Departure Air Transport 3472 is passing 9,700 feet, climbing flight level 390.
Let's decrease the throttle.
Air Transport 3472
Let's
departure
try to get
altimeter
turned around a little bit faster this time, so I'll do it a little bit throttle for the stall here.
Air Transport 3472, contact Oakland Center on 1.
And then hopefully we'll have a better approach here.
475. Good day.
And again, I haven't landed in this game in a while. I'm going to attempt to land it, so Speedbird, I guess you could
Overspeed.
119.4.
rate my landing here.
Transport 3472.
That's a little bit better. It's not perfect,
Overspeed. Overspeed.
but it's a little bit better.
Overspeed. 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 Overspeed.
And then I'll try to stay in the cockpit view for the actual landing. I'm going to try to show both views here. And maybe this isn't the same area where I land. 'Cause I remember when I would land in SFO when I was a kid, you would see like a little peninsula, these little tiny islands and stuff, and it would be a little scary because you would fly so low. I'd always feel like we would be landing in the bay for some reason.
500.
Alright, so I'm going to try to do a good approach angle here. I'm going to go ahead and set the parking brake just so it's set.
300.
And then from what I remember of these lights here, these 4 red lights, you want 2 white, and you want 2 red, I think. That's supposed to be the proper approach angle. And that area there with the lines is called the threshold. And generally you want to touch, this is not a good land, but that's
60,
okay.
50. 40,
Generally you want to
30,
land right
20.
around this area here.
Retard.
Yeah, that was not that was pretty rough landing, so. And then you do the reverse thrusters, you engage the parking brake. And then usually the pilot would say the weather. He'd say, you know, I think some people would clap. I remember every time I would land at SFO, people would clap, which I kind of liked. You know, I mean, I think it's nice. You know, when the pilot does a successful and soft landing, it's nice to clap to kind of, you know, show appreciation of a smooth landing, a safe flight. You know. And then usually the pilot would, usually when we get to the gate, he would probably say like the weather and, you know, welcome to SFO. He would say it's 67 degrees here, foggy San Francisco. Hope you have a nice flight and a beautiful day, and simple as that. So yeah, just wanted to make that little video here, and let me go ahead and adjust these flaps here. Or is that the speed brakes? Must be the speed brakes. Yeah, the speed brakes. That's okay. But yeah, that's the point. Just wanted to kind of land and kind of make it complete. And I'm not going to taxi all the way there, because that's just going to take too much time. And then normally you would shut off the engine. I can't remember the keys to shut off the engine. I think Control, Shift, E? Yeah, but that's what it was. So you normally do that when you're all the way taxiing. So yeah. It's just a little complete landing and takeoff, and just want to tell my little story. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Thank you for watching. I appreciate all the support, and Speedbird, thank you for the support, and also, you know, for sticking around the channel. I appreciate it, and see you guys for the next video. Peace out.